pinnacle of human perfection.
Welcome to Unbiased and On the Fence. I'm Shane. How are you all doing today? I am joined today with Michelle Wolfe. How are you doing today, Michelle?
Happy Tuesday, Shane. Good to see
Tuesday.
you.
And energies, we were just talking before the show about how I've been feeling zingy, and if I pay attention to my hands buzzing, I can feel them. How have you been feeling?
So yeah, definitely a lot of energy. Last week I was just wow, and definitely had a lot of energy. I did not need near as much sleep. I was waking up like wide awake, and I love my sleep. So that was unusual last week. But then I found when I got to about Friday, Saturday, everything, but still zingy. Like I'm still feeling all the sensations. I'm still feeling the like currents through my hands and my feet, and I'm getting feedback from people about that as well. So I'm still feeling these energy movements through the body, and still really feeling this high level of vibration. But when I got to the weekend, I could do nothing but sleep. It was like all of a sudden everything weighed, a ton. And I literally just slept pretty much all weekend, and have been sleeping quite a bit. So I think just recuperating, like really from all of that energy last week. I think there was a lot of changes going on physically, and I think it was a lot of work. And I think a lot of work as well is still being done in sleep time now. A lot of work. So I'm thinking that's it's very tiring work. It can be very tiring work physically. So we go through this still. So I've definitely been zoned out the last few days, and feeling really heavy and sleepy. So I'm curious if anybody's felt that sort of that after effect of the wave. I kind of felt like with the wave that came in last week, really peaking the 20th to the 24th, I really felt like I could feel the wave like come in, and as you hit that peak of the bow, it's just really electrified. Just so much stuff going on inside physically that's really undeniable now. It's just so noticeable. And when the wave sort of peaked and started to move out, well, of that exchange still really there. The vibration level still really there, but also felt the absence of it dropping out as well. So I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else.
It's like a
Kind of hard.
crash or something.
Yeah, like it was like feeling so up and really and buoyant with it, a lot of buoyancy, and really feeling supported with the energy of the wave. And then as it moves out, just kind of feeling that fall out, that support sort of holding up. But the vibration level and the changes that it brought in physically are still very present. So that's what I'm noticing with that one, and it's definitely escalating. I don't find that the level of the physical vibrations that I'm receiving are eking off in any way. It still is a little bit more really every day, and especially the more attention that I pay to it, or the more meditation that I do. Any of these things are really just continuing to escalate the sensation of really like electricity I'm feeling through most especially the hands, and through the feet. So I'm really, really noticing that my hands, both hands, are responding physically. I've had a few opportunities to work with some people too, and working more physically with my hands, and really very, very aware now of, I always had an internal sense of blockages. I always had an internal sense of where things were sore in someone, or swollen or aggravated, or any of these things. I could always have a sense of it. But this is what I'm receiving is a very physical reaction now. So, if I were to be, this is the person in essence, and I'm sort of scanning, I hold about 3 inches or so above the skin. And as I go over an area, it almost feels like it literally will push my hand up. And
Mm.
I also receive interesting sensations as well in my head. So as I feel a pressure point in the body, or a blockage, or sort of a knot in the body, I can literally, it's like I feel the bump of it, and I actually feel it right here as well. So that's really interesting. What's really crazy though is when I do zone in on what this spot is, and then physically place my hand down, it will actually jolt, where the other person feels it. Like it's like a zap. Like not just an electric shock, but it's like like my hand does it like a spasm with this jolt, and on the area. So I'm like, oh, okay, I got the right area, and it literally recognizes it. It will jolt and continue to jolt until I think the blockage is released. And so it will go from initially being very hot and flushed. They will feel the current running through them as well, then down through the feet, and we'll feel the sensation as well. We'll feel the jolts, and it will be heated, and then I think, and then it will go cold, very, very cold, and that's when everything's being released and cleaned out. In essence, I know is when it gets to the really cold part. So this has been amazing. It's been an amazing experience, and I'm so excited to be doing, because I know I can still do this in a way, like we are right now talking. I know I can still pass this energy and feel it through this way, but I'm also looking forward to taking more one-on-one, like face-to-face physical clients as well now too, and really working with this more, because it's pretty exciting. It really is exciting.
Do you think it's a physical thing you're feeling, or is it an etheric type of
Oh, it's physical.
blockage?
I think both. I
Right.
think both. I pick up on both, because I'm picking up on the vortexes of energy. So I can feel when I have the hand above, I can pick up where the energy is moving, or what's getting activated, which is really interesting. But then I'm also feeling the actual physical, because there's been a lot of abdominal issues for people lately, a lot of stomach congestion, blockages, constipation, different things like that. Um, did I cut out at all
Nope,
there?
you're here.
Okay, good. Okay, because I had a message come through, and sometimes it cuts out. Um,
So you're
so
feeling
I'm
it physically
definitely
regardless, but when you work on someone, you might be working on their physical, or you might be working on their
either,
etheric, or
yeah,
right.
either. So yeah, because like I said, a few people have been having some pretty serious, like, difficult stomach problems, and I can definitely feel that. So I feel where the inflammation is. I feel where that sensation is, but then I'm also feeling the etheric or chakra blockages as well. I think in different areas, which is a somewhat different visual I get inside. So and so you know what, I'm really just working in practice. Like, it's really a work in process now, because it's like learning a language, or learning, like, these different sensations, and with this new really ability that I have with my hands, that's getting so much stronger and getting so tied in. It's like exploring a whole new world, and learning these things too as I go. But it's definitely a very dramatic change. Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've had a couple of mornings when I woke up and I had dreams. I didn't write them down. I don't know how. I guess I'm so out of it sometimes when I wake up and I feel like I've been working a 12-hour shift. I
Yeah.
should feel refreshed, but I feel worn out and I didn't write the dreams down, but there
Yeah,
was
they're
something to
tiring.
them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, tiring. Well, I was flying around in a fighter spaceship last night. I was having a lot of fun.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, crazy stuff. I had dragons in my dreams last night, baby dragon, like all kinds of crazy stuff. And it just went on and on and on. I was in space at one point. I was all over the place, all over the place. I've been doing a lot of moving. Like I said before, I had this one house, and I think it's that place that I just really want to go. And it got to the point where I could just go there now, all the time in dreams. And like I'm setting up stuff, like I'm moving things around, I'm moving things in. I'm, figuring out which room I want to make mine. I'm like, all these different interesting things are going on. So I think that's really, I always look to that to, I think, telling me a lot about progress as well, in the last few years of where it started, of finding this house, and then, going back to it and going back to it and going back to it. And here now I'm like moving in, and it's pretty interesting. It's got to mean something. So I think it's a lot of fun. Yeah,
I think
ton of
one of the dreams I had, I just remembered it was like I don't know if anybody's ever played that game Tomb Raider, but you could go into this. This was years ago, so
yeah.
it's like an old game, but you could go into her mansion at the beginning, and it was sort of this obstacle course. You could train it, and she had like this butler and stuff, and you could just
Mm-hmm.
run around and learn how to control her and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And for people that don't know, it's just sort of like a third person running around exploring and accomplishing things. And anyway, I had a dream where it was a bunch of light workers at this huge mansion training, and
Yeah.
like you had an objective to complete, and it was all for fun, but it was like people were looking on cameras and trying to catch you, and then like you had to get here and get this object or something. And I remember taking the swimming route and knowing I could hold my breath longer than I ever have before to swim my way all the way there. It was just really strange because it was like this training dream, but when I woke up, it reminded me of that Tomb Raider game where you could sort of just practice in the beginning of it. So it was kind of wild.
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. And I'm definitely getting the sensation of being with other people like me in dreams now, and we're working together and doing things. Even last night, there was a few of us that we were fighting these or flying these spaceships, like these small, space, sort of like, the Star Wars Luke Skywalker's kind of spaceship,
Oh,
right?
the
Like when
smaller
he,
one that's more like
yeah, the
just
smaller
for
ones,
right.
like when we're all flying around with this objective and working together, to do this. And I get, and I'm getting these ones a lot, in particular with this group of people in this place. I know it's event based. Excuse me.
It's
I
okay.
just sneezed. um, I know there's like a peak to it, like a pivotal moment approaching, and it's preparation for this pivotal moment. And there are still things that we are keeping in check as far as adversaries, and we're really working together in this manner. And that's been coming up again too quite frequently, and I'm getting that it's near the Antarctic
Oh
too.
wow.
Yeah, so like it's like if I were to start off here, and we end up literally traveling on a larger spaceship. Oh, you know what? And here's the great vision. I had a very, 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 very clear visual too of, and this I've been getting more and more of seeing, and it's so real when I see it. The clouds, and literally this just ginormous form, just like a ship just coming slowly down, dropping down from the clouds, and everybody just like, but I'm like, there it is. So, I knew it, right? And that's been happening a lot too, a lot. And it's so clear and it's so real that when I'm in that moment, I'm like, I'm recognizing how clear and real it is. And that it is real life. Like in that moment, it feels like real life. And this moment that I've known was going to come is there it is. And that's happening frequently every week now through the nights. That's very, very frequent. So yeah, exciting. A lot of fun. I'm really having a lot of fun with people. Like you said, obstacle courses and stuff. We were there was like sometimes we were sort of skiing, but sometimes we were like just running around exploring like these obstacle courses and different things, and there's a bunch of us doing it. So definitely some similarities with the house, because there was, yeah, it was like these different obstacle courses and different ways to get places and using different abilities to do these things. So and picking up in the flying as well, again too, where I'm just literally lifting myself up off the ground. When I was even going down, literally I'm skiing down a mountain but with no skis, and like above the ground with no skis,
Oh
just kind
wow,
of
like
woo woo
hovering or
down
something.
yeah,
That's
that was
nice.
crazy. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. I had a blast doing that last night. So this is why I sleep a lot, because I have a lot of fun in my dreams, right?
I
So
think I do too, and I just don't remember it. But trying to mesh together all the information we're getting, where people say it's going to happen by this date, or some people say it's going to take years, and I try to mesh all that together, because this has seemed to me, looking back on it, like this continual event that's always happening,
yeah,
and it's just rungs on the ladder of this bigger event, and
yeah,
so it could take a
exactly.
while. But that doesn't mean that we aren't going to see anything for a long time, and I think that's
But
sort
we
of,
are
we're
starting to see
already
things
seeing
now.
things, and they already seem to be amping up, and I think
Oh
it's a
gosh, yeah.
wonderful
Yeah.
time to be alive.
It is. And I still think that we all experience these things in different ways. This is really part of this, multi-dimensional, just this whole experience. Yeah, we are all on the same planet, but you can be right next to a person that is having a completely different experience than you. And um so there really is no way to know. I think the only way that each person can know individually is really what feels true to you, because truth to everybody is really different. And we all, even though we may all be receiving a lot of the same information in through the collective consciousness now, we're still receiving that through our own individual lens. Our lenses are completely different. And so, how we interpret, how we respond, how we react, all these different things are all filtered through our own individual lens, which then shapes our experience as well. So, I don't, the only thing that I caution about is when people gravitate to dates and such, is you can't wait for something to save you. You have to save yourself, and it's not always easy. And I think it really is the tricky part of it, is letting things unfold uh, naturally in your way for you, and being okay with it.
And taking part in it as well.
Yeah, yeah, and taking part of it. And um, every time you pin on a date and stuff, it can set you back. So, I mean, I continue to experience that all the dates that are given as far as energy coming in, to be very true. And I certainly receive upgrades and all kinds of amazing things that just keep accelerating through this whole process. And I think that acceleration is, exponential. The vibration, it just like a magnet brings that in and just causes the whole thing to spin faster. So I think that as things progress each month, we're seeing an acceleration of everything happening all over the world. How we're experiencing things or feeling things. But we're all on our own track with it too, and all at our own pace. So, some people might be hitting one stage at person that could have been at that stage 2 years ago, or maybe someone 2 years from now. Who knows? It really is being in the now. It's learning to be in the now. And that's what the synchronicities are trying to show us. That's what the numbers are trying to show us. I think, when we notice them, it's being present in that moment, and it's understanding that boom, once again, right there with you is the recognition, every time you see that number that matches and resonates for you. And that's a recognition of being in the now.
Yeah.
And that's where we need to be, not tomorrow, not yesterday, not. And I think this is why our memories are going.
And I think the point you were bringing up with perspective is simply, the perfect example is the Yanni and Laurel thing. It's the same exact audio clip, and people are experiencing it completely different. I'm not a Yanni or a Laurel. I'm a Yeri. For some reason,
Yeah.
I hear Yeri. So
Yeah. And that may change too, right? Like, and I do like this example, and that's why I brought it up the other week. And I really think that it ties in with all of these things, and how we are experiencing this. And it's starting to really scientifically, like, really show us that this is actually how it works, and we're seeing that physical evidence of it, just like when they did the tests on water, and you put love on this jar of water and hate on this, and when you look at the microscope, you see that there's a physical effect. And I think that shows us, yes, there's a physical effect to how we experience this reality, how we see it, how we hear it, how we feel it, based on our own vibration level as well. So, and I think it can affect so many things, like the Mandela effects and all of these things. And of course, as the entire Earth itself is raising its vibration, and we are raising along, I think that's why we're seeing the magnitude of the Mandela effects escalate, right? But I think you can still have individual experiences within that as well too. Why some may remember it differently than others, or why you hear Yanni or Laurel, or even seeing colors. So,
yeah,
mhm.
definitely. It's like I think the Mandela effect, if anything, the way everyone sees different effects, and the way when people sort of wake up to the fact the Mandela effect's happening, then it's like it just happened for those people. And so, yeah, it's like that's, I think, a little glimpse at just the nature of reality itself. It's nothing like we've been taught, you know what I mean?
No, I don't think so either. I think it's a lot more malleable than
Back
we have
back to
been
the
led
drawing
to
board.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Than it appears to us. Which is hard when you can knock on something and it's solid, right? And
Mhm.
but when I look at how much I'm experiencing my dreams in such a real, vivid, clear way now, it's the lines begin to meld a little bit. And with now, it's really been an amazing experience for me these last 2 weeks, with having this actual physical sensation and reaction to things, that is just a whole other level. you know
Have you
it's
been
one thing.
finding
Mhm.
have you been finding that just your waking time seems more dreamlike than usual?
Yes, at times, yes, can be very surreal, because sometimes I think, when I'm really peaking, my visual even starts to change. So that's where sometimes the dreams can seem more clear than even when I'm walking in reality now, because sometimes if I'm really vibing really high, there's like an overlay even to my vision a little
Hmm.
bit, which can seem surreal, which seems misty, which
Yeah.
seems not as real sometimes as what I'm seeing in my dreams.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get that a lot too. And when Debbie Solaris was talking about getting taken up on that craft and it being more real than our awaking moments, I was like, you know what? I do feel like I could wake up a little bit more than I am. You know what I mean? I do have
Yeah.
that feeling of that dreamy like state of reality, especially when you go to meditate and you're trying to be in the moment and you're like listening to everything and looking around, admiring the trees or whatever,
Hmm.
and it's like, man, this is so dreamy, like.
Yeah. So what is real and what isn't?
A dream
And
within a dream, right?
yeah, and I think it is, and but then that's what my dreams tell me too, that it's a dream within a dream. And and this whole, breaking out of this game that we've been locked into, and that too, and really breaking out of being locked into thinking that that's a reality that you're stuck in,
Yeah.
and, and literally pulling in and pulling out of it, is really like what I feel like I'm here to do in a lot of ways. So, and that process is just becoming more and more evident. So, there's so much, I've been watching a lot of different things. Corey Good put out a new video and I was watching his interpretation, and there's so many different interpretations on what will happen and when it will happen. That I think we'll all just may experience it in our own way, in a way that we can't understand it right now. Um, so who knows? But a lot of stuff is going to happen this year, and I really I do feel strongly still for myself personally that it will escalate through over the summer and really peak in the fall. And I do feel that there will be an apex moment at that time. But how that happens seems to me to be a much bigger picture maybe than I had originally thought. So who knows how that will all play out, but I think however it does play out, it will be no denying for anybody whether they're aware or not. I think that's how I feel that will come to.
I think it's really interesting that, I had on Nathan Sanders yesterday, and he was talking about September, the end of September, and
Mm-hmm.
that's the beginning of fall.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's
What was
the
he
people
saying
that.
about? I didn't catch the whole show because I was out
Yeah,
yesterday
he was.
afternoon. So what was he saying about the end of September?
Well, he was just saying that something was going to happen. He couldn't quite figure it out. It was
Mm-hmm.
just that he kept getting that date around that time. And then he was trying to figure out if it was going to be in 2018 or 2019. And he was getting both years like it was going to be a pivotal point. But, the funny thing is, when you look at like Guy Fawkes, I think was one that he was he woke up at the fall equinox. And then I woke up at the spring equinox, a
I think
year
the
ago.
equinox, yeah, yeah.
Something about that, the whole Passover, not Passover in the Jewish religion, but the
Mm-hmm.
the the sun passing over the equator, Passover. um,
Yeah,
I think there's like a shift of energy when that happens, and for
yeah.
some reason, it snaps us out of it. And for a lot of people, it seems to be really focused on those times where people, start noticing things and sort of wake up.
It's almost like another reset.
Yeah,
It's kind of like with each of them, it like resets up to the like locks in at the next save point.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
you're doing the video game, right? It locks
yeah.
you in at the next save point. That's kind of how I see it. Yeah, and with the full moons as well.
Mhm.
In a smaller way. Today's a great day, and a great day to really be aware of that energy, where you want to be, and putting your intentions forward, because I think that they serve. But I think this is going to be a really big one. I think this is quite a. It's called the Blossom Moon, and there's a lot of great astrological stuff going along with it right now that I think makes it very powerful and an active time. So I think it's a great time to really set your intentions for what you really do want and what you really want to experience. And I think that that's something that we can plug in with the full moons. But the equinoxes, like that's a whole other much larger level of that, I think. And I think a very pivotal reset point. So I anticipate myself a lot going on. And what I received from my personal hypnosis session was that season of the fall, being end of the pregnancy cycle, being end of the harvesting season, being end of the building cycle. So really going in October, November, really being a lot going on within that. So because 11/11 is still always going to be pivotal. So I think, that will bring something there. The equinox will. And a harvest moon, like a lot of different things will, can really activate a lot of things. So I don't think all these things just happen just on one day. And because there's so many different things that are going on so many different levels, and the Earth's doing her thing too, and and we're each individually doing our thing through our process. So, you know, I don't think that you can say it's just this, you know, this one day, this one thing happens and it changes everything for everybody. And we're definitely going to have big days where a lot of things change for everybody, or most people, or a lot of people. But I don't think it's just all on one day. I think there's going to be some amazing, you know, life altering days for us. But I don't think I don't think the event is one event.
Right. It's a series of events.
Yeah. When you
Like you go to a
consider,
big weekend concert and there's like, you know,
yeah,
different bands playing every so often or whatever. And it's like all of these
yeah,
events are part of the big event. And when you think of cosmic time, you know, it's still pretty quick. You know, even if it takes a few years, it's like on the, you know, when
I
you're looking
know.
at like universal time, things just happen so slow compared to what we're used to, you know.
Yeah. Mind you, my little sneeze there before a snoller a snoller sneeze a snoller sneeze preempt.
Or like someone was saying a shift gift. Was that you, Patty? Somebody had coined a term, shift gift. Maybe that was a
Shift
shift
gift.
gift. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shift gift.
A shift gift. Yeah. Well, not all the gifts are that great sometimes, eh? So I still see, I still see this, you know, the energy coming in, setting a new platform. You got the purging goes on. That's what the stomach stuff's been going on. And we do get really tired. We feel sort of a void. We feel that void a little bit again. And then, ooh, the next wave starts to come in. And I think Aluna, I think they will come in more frequently. Like, I think it escalates. I feel like, you know, so I know Aluna Ash was talking about the 3rd to the 7th. I'm really loving the work that she's doing, and I'm finding a lot of resonance to the things that she's saying. So and she's putting up codes as well too, number codes that she's getting. So I think that's fantastic. If you haven't checked her out, I would, because I'm really liking the stuff that she is doing. And she senses the 3rd to the 7th as being another strong wave coming in. So that'll be interesting. I don't think it's going to let up. I don't think it's like just, you know, one wave and now we got to wait till, you know, the fall. No, for me personally, I think it's just going to keep on going. It's just going to keep on escalating. The waves may come in more frequently, and
Sort of like being on the beach and the ocean coming
yeah,
in. Um,
and the waves are picking up. Yeah.
Michelle's Opinions had a question. A lot of people are
Mm-hmm.
experiencing ascension symptoms. Do you have any advice for people like that?
Well, if they can tell me a little more specifically about what ascension symptoms and how they're being affected by them.
Mm-hmm.
Some things, you know, because I was finding that I was expressing the fact that, you know, I'm feeling these energies and things, and people were misinterpreting maybe that I'm not grounding enough or something, or in some way this aggravates me, or it's a problem. It's not that. This is a new way of being. So I think we need to differentiate between what is a symptom that may feel like it's adversely affecting us, as opposed to what is actually a new way of experiencing vibrations and our experience here in ways that we haven't experienced before. And sometimes those things can take some adjustment and getting used to, and our body needs to physically get used to them. So sometimes it just is a matter of time to allow yourself to integrate these new things. And so with that, really is just take it easy on yourself, go easy on yourself, rest. And I, you know, the grounding's great, but I think we all know how to do that. So, you know, making sure you're going to drink water. Yeah, we all know how to do that. The meditation. I don't think that we can just get rid of these things. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it's
Headaches.
just
Drinking
part.
water will help with headaches usually.
Yeah, and the baths, the salt, like my hair's still wet because I told Jane I must have soaked in there for about a good hour in the salt bath, and it helps. It really helps. And if you've got to do that every day right now, then do it. If you have to sleep for 12 hours straight, for 24 hours straight, then if you can, do it, because it's exhausting work. The headaches, yes, drink more water. Drink more water. I would worry. I would worry about that with the headaches. Um, so if there's anything specific,
Yeah, she just hit me up. She said people are asking about body aches headaches,
Mhm.
dizziness, and feeling disoriented.
Yeah, but okay, so the dizziness and disoriented is, I think, a normal thing because we're feeling these shifts and these vertigos. And definitely, so last week that was huge for me. I was so activated at times that it was literally, like after we did our show last Tuesday, this was a good example. And there were several instances like this where I was so energized after that. I was feeling just like when I came out of the hypnosis session, where it's like, woo, I could be walking like this. Like, I got to figure out how to use my legs all over again.
Yeah, it's like a
Um,
huge energy exchange, so it sort of disorients you, I believe.
it's very disoriented, and it feels literally like you got one foot here and one foot in a completely different dimension. And I think that that's just normal. That's going to become normal in a way. We are going to acclimate to it as we tune in. It's like in a way we're babies learning to walk,
Hmm.
and we're going to fall down and bump sometimes, and it's tricky getting your balance, but it is a learning process. So I would really say be easy on yourself, rest when you can, water, 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 especially if you're getting the headaches, if you're getting muscle cramping. um
Angie
uh,
S is saying Gatorade can help with the headaches too. Probably the electrolytes in it
but be
could
cautious of
really
the
help.
sugar. There's a
Hmm.
lot of sugar in Gatorade, a lot of sugar in Gatorade.
I love
So
sugar.
yeah,
I
that's
know
not
it's
going to
bad
help.
for you though. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm just,
So and then
don't we all, right?
yeah, and if you are having these reactions, then again, our diets are changing all the time. So I do suggest looking at your diet. If you are feeling those ways, please stay away from processed foods, refined foods. Please stay away from sugar. Try to eat as natural as possible, and probably not as heavy. So I'm not saying to avoid meat by any means. I don't think that that is always the way to go for everyone. I've certainly found days where I feel that that's what my body wants and needed, and other days where it doesn't. Some days where I have a huge appetite, and some days where I have none. But the
Listen
water
to your
needs to
body.
be,
I think that's good
yeah,
advice too.
the water needs to be continual. And if you are really experiencing an excessive amount of stomach problems, excessive amount of body aches and pains, headaches, please take a look at your diet just to make sure that you're not having maybe too much sugar or too much refined or processed foods, because especially on our on our digestive system right now, with the purging that is going on, it's very, very difficult on our digestive system. So I would suggest anything to aid your stomach right now, whether it's more ground flax, probiotics, or any of these things. Avoid dairy. It's a great idea to avoid dairy. Our stomachs cannot handle it. If you're having excessive problems with constipation stuff, there's a lot of buildup that can happen in your intestines and your bowels. And it's not a great topic, but enemas might really be the way to go, because we really build up this tar like substance that sticks to our intestines from all these processed foods that we eat. And these can really drain us and have a very big effect on our headaches, energy, just everything. So just make sure that you're doing what you can with your diet to avoid those things. And if you're doing those things already, good, great. Um, I don't think you need to be a maniac about it, but just be aware of how you're feeling and what you're ingesting. And if that's not the case for you, then just rest, give yourself a break. And if this is something that works for you, I'm doing it every day, is calling in archangelic help. And I didn't really have a relationship with archangels a year or two ago. So this is a pretty new thing for me too. But I'm doing it daily now, and it really does help. And I find now that I'm building a more of a one-on-one relationship with the angels now that I'm calling in, that I didn't have before. So what I've been doing to really help, especially the Archangel Raphael. Okay, yeah, with the green fire energy and bringing that in. has really helped. Like I'm feeling stuff shifting and moving, and I feel that I'm getting worked on when I'm doing that. So if that's something that you haven't tried and you want to be willing to try it, what I took was from, I've mentioned before, was from Steve Noble, in his meditations, and he calls in the different angels from the east, the south, the west, the north, from below us, from the earth, and above us. And he goes through this routine. And I've been doing that now daily and doing it with my meditations. It's helped really build that relationship with them. It's helped me feel the differences of their energy and how it helps me, and it's helped also bring in the Christ consciousness in a much more secure way through Archangel Metatron. So if you haven't tried it and you're open to trying it, it's helped. That's really helped me as well, especially with the healing and taking some of that burden off of us for aches and pains or indigestion. I really found a lot of help with that.
I've also noticed that just paying attention to yourself as far as, excuse me, sorry,
That's okay.
that I like went in and grab a water from Quick Trip because you know you can get like a styrofoam cup for like a quarter or something, you know, and I like their water. It's all crisp, but I had
Mm-hmm.
this moment where it was like cranberry juice, you know, like I don't want to buy cranberry juice,
Yeah.
but I just heard it in my head. It seemed like it was my own thought, but just paying attention because sometimes
Yeah.
I think we're told things and it pops in our head as an idea. But you know, maybe I needed some cranberry juice. I don't know if it's the
Cranberry
juice in
juice is
it or.
very cleansing for
Mhm.
your bladder and your urethra. Like it's great for that. So yeah, I would say that you were given a tip to help your lower digestive system at this time, and it's very cleansing on your bladder. It's actually great. I drink cranberry juice. Try to somewhat regularly just to help with that, and it really does work.
So pay attention
Um,
to those cravings. That might not just be something that
yeah,
popped in your head. It could be you're
yeah.
being told something. You might be low on something. So just pay attention.
Yeah. Like I had a real craving for just beef,
Hmm.
last week, and I'm not even eating it that much anymore. But you know what? I listened to myself and I did.
Hmm.
And it made me feel great. So I think our bodies will really let us know. The other, actually, it just came to me because so on the weekend, on Saturday, I went into work, and it started making me feel very sick. I was started feeling woozy, nauseous. I started feeling faint. I started feeling aggravated, uncomfortable, and you know what? I was like, peace out. I'm going home, and I went home and slept, and I got the next day off. So I actually didn't even work this weekend. I'm so glad that I didn't. I think that I was having a physical response in a way to the energies that were going on there, and at that time, my body did not want me to be there,
Hmm.
and it was letting me know, it was making me physically feel sick. So I would again suggest, what's going on around you? What are your surroundings right now? Are you could you be reacting or feeling the energy from others around you, their tension, their aggravation, their blockages, their things? Because that can be really overwhelming for us at times too. Going into a Walmart, coming out, yeah, I always have a headache. So um,
With
it's so
the,
true.
oh
Like
yeah,
going into a mall and
yeah.
stuff, like that's a lot. When you're an empath, you don't realize how much this can physically affect you and drain you. And I think, when we do shine bright too, there's things that want to take that energy as well, and maybe it can take a toll on us. So I would take a look at your surroundings, and again, I think, and if that's the case, then it's nature. Just get outside and just hug a tree. Sit by the water if you can. You just get outside to some green, and I think that will really revitalize. I've noticed a big difference with that. I'm really feeling the revitalization factor of nature right now, and I think that it's really helpful. So I think that's a great tool to use. I know a lot of these are the same things that you hear, but I think that's because they're the things that work. So if you're finding that and none of those things are working for you, then I'm doing counseling sessions now. So I mentioned last time, you can send me an email, and if you're not able to come see me personally, then we can do it online and maybe get to the bottom of what it is that's blocking that, or what needs to be released. Maybe what are you resisting? Sometimes resistance can lead to that. So we'll do the email at the end, or you can go to my channel. But yeah, wolf.art101@gmail.com. So if it's still a problem for you, you can reach out to me and we can set something up and see if I can't help you more specifically with it.
Yeah, and I think like we were talking yesterday with Nathan, that if you just kind of put your question out there, like, why is this happening? What do I need to do? And then just start paying attention for the answer. You might notice it come, and it could be a video that pops up as a recommended video, or it could be
Mm-hmm.
anything. You might overhear somebody talking about a diet that they're trying out, or whatever. Just sort of.
Something you'll feel, you know what, you'll resonate with what the truth is, and that is by really listening to yourself. And you know, I think sometimes too, if we can be avoiding changes that need to be made in our lives, things that need to be done, but we just, maybe we don't know how we're going to get there. We don't know how we're going to do it. So we avoid, making the leap and doing it. I find that life has a way of hitting you with a bit even bigger and bigger 2x4 each time.
So
And
true. Yeah.
and sometimes to the point where you literally can't do anything, because it will not let you do what you were doing before anymore. So that might be an aspect as well. There's so many different things that can be going on with this. And it may be something that you're resisting, a change that needs to be made in your life as well.
Mhm.
So,
I think that's where those ascension flus come in. It's like, when you don't catch the little hints, that's the big 2x4 we get hit with. Like, look here.
you'll get sicker and sicker. Your body
Yeah.
will rebel. Your body will rebel because you're not going in the direction that is the best for you, I think. And so it just won't work. Nothing will work. And if we don't listen, those messages get just bigger and bigger and bigger
Till you
until
get
there's
knocked on your butt and forced
until
to
the
take
choice
the
is,
break you need.
and yeah, until it's made for you. The choice will be made for you eventually, and it's often not in a very comfortable way. So it could be a variety of things, and these are all just different options. But to get very specific, I'd have to really do a one-on-one to get to the bottom of it. But I'm sure that I could. So sometimes
Yeah.
it's not things that we always want to hear, though, and that's the tricky part.
That's a lot of times it's the messages like that you have to see it 3 or 4 times before you're like, all right, I guess I'm getting the message, because you'll just kind of
Yeah.
blow it off. Maybe it is you need to stop eating meat. I know that's the case for some people.
Yeah.
And I think I view things from a different. I don't really view it from I don't like to hurt animals type of a thing, because I see plants just as alive as animals. So I don't think it's really an issue with that for me anyway. I see
Mm-hmm.
everything as being alive, and it's really
Yeah.
unavoidable not to eat something that's alive, because
Yeah.
everything's alive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I respect people who have those views, and maybe that is something you need to work on, and if it is, that's the path you're on. But I
But it
think
might not be the only answer. Sometimes we'll, because there's that one thing that we don't want to do. So we're
right,
like, I'll change this, I'll change this, I'll change this. And why do I still feel the same? Because you're
right.
avoiding that one thing that you just, I don't.
Well,
And it may be a relationship that is sucking you dry,
yeah,
and it's not making you well. And it's just time to, close that. And I don't necessarily mean a romantic relationship. It could be a family relationship. It could be a variety of things.
yeah, a
It could be the
friendship,
work that we're
or
doing. It could be, yeah, it could be so many different things that we just may be resisting changing. And I think that resistance leads to more aggravation
I only
and
said that
physical.
because you mentioned the beef, and
Hmm.
how, like, you weren't like guilted into not eating meat, to where you got that message, and maybe you really needed protein. That could have been
Yeah,
something
that
your body
day.
really needed. But if someone's guilted into, if the intentions aren't right about why they're doing something, then they might not be doing what they need to do. Somebody might need to get protein through meat. You never know. So
If guilt is making you do anything,
It's
It's
the
not
wrong
the right.
motivation.
Don't let guilt motivate you. Get rid of guilt, get rid of doubt, because that's just as poisonous and toxic as anything you're going to ingest.
Probably gonna make some people mad on that one, but it's the truth, you know.
It is guilt. Your guilt poisons your body.
Yeah.
So
It's still a
so
lower vibration you're vibrating at,
yeah,
frequency that you're
yeah, the
vibrating at.
guilt and doubt, definitely. Um so don't, you know what, don't feel guilty about not doing everything perfectly either. Don't be so hard on yourself. I say, my oldest daughter came home and she's really having a hard time right now. She's really feeling the low of this energy, and she's, fighting. She's putting all the blame on herself. That she is the problem, that she can't make this life work,
Mm-hmm.
and trying to realize, no, there's nothing wrong with you. Just because you're the circle and they're trying to fit you into the square because that's what life is supposed to be, doesn't mean the problem is with you. And the guilt that she puts on herself, and so many of us can do this because we just can't conform.
Right.
We just can't conform to what society tells you is supposed to make you happy.
Serge
And
in
it's
the chat says, you
Mhm.
need to love you and all your sin. LOL. As strange as it sounds, this is
Yeah,
liberating. And that's
all
true.
of
You got to
it.
realize none of us are perfect.
No,
And you
but
can
and who's
actually,
determining right or wrong here?
right.
Who is determining good or bad? So
So if
you
you're on a
really,
diet and you eat that piece of chocolate cake, don't resonate in a
good
bunch of
for
guilt.
you. Good
Enjoy
for you. Enjoy the chocolate
enjoy it
cake.
and move forward. Don't
Yeah.
resonate in guilt that you ate the
Be-
piece of cake.
because any contamination that piece of chocolate cake could have done, and if you felt like, if you put all loving light energy into, I'm going to sneeze again. Phew, excuse me. If you put all this loving light and good feelings into this chocolate cake, I think it will do you more benefit than eating the chocolate cake and feeling guilty about it. I
Sorry
think
if
you're like
anybody went on a
doubling
date. I should have
the
brought up chocolate
contamination.
cake.
You shouldn't have brought up the chocolate
And
cake.
that was me.
There's
We try
nothing
not to
wrong with
smoke on camera and stuff because, if
it.
somebody's
Yeah,
quitting, you don't want to tempt them with a smoke or
with
something.
this,
And I bring up
yeah.
a big piece of cake.
But
Sorry,
you
guys.
have to let it go. You have to let it go. So you ate a piece of chocolate cake. It's not going to stay with you forever. So yeah,
Don't be hard on yourself.
don't be hard on yourself. Yeah, cut yourself some slack, and be in the now. You ate the chocolate cake yesterday. Well, you didn't eat it today. So just, be in the now with what feels right now. And if the chocolate cake makes you feel good right now, then eat the chocolate cake. If you're
Yeah.
happy, eat it.
Could be
You know?
dark chocolate and you need some of those antioxidants.
Yeah,
Whatever it is,
exactly.
but don't sit and resonate in guilt.
Maybe
And
your soul just wants the experience.
yeah,
Maybe you just want the experience because we came here to experience.
yeah,
So, don't be so cut and dry and cutting yourself off from experience, because that's what we came here to do.
yeah.
So, don't limit yourself in that capacity either. Experience what you want to experience, as long as you're not hurting anybody else.
I'm sorry. Somebody said now they want chocolate cake. Just love yourself. That's the main thing here. Love yourself, because it really diminishes your ability to love others if you can't love yourself. So, what are you going
Yeah,
to do if you run into your twin with all the same issues you have? Are you not going to love that person? So, learn to love yourself,
you
because
have
that's
to.
that's the
Yeah.
ultimate expression in loving others, is when you can love yourself. And we typically do that too. When we see somebody that's got the problems we have, we're hard on them because we're really, subconsciously hard on ourselves. And we want to
Yeah.
judge those people because we're sort of judging ourselves at the same time. And that gets into that whole thing where, your reality is a reflection of yourself. If you see a problem with it, it's really a reflection back on yourself.
Well, and that's it. And you're absolutely right. We have to look at, if you're being triggered by someone, it's to show you something. Why are you being triggered? So why, dig a little deeper. Often those things that we, can't stand, and I'm not talking about bullying or abuse or any of those things. No, I'm talking about those annoying things that people can do. Often you recognize that there's a part of that in you, because there is. Sorry.
Yeah.
And it's often those things that are the things that we don't like about ourselves that we bury. Those traits can be in there. So don't, um, and often when we don't like, when we see those things in other people, it's often because we're avoiding seeing them in ourselves. And I do see that pretty prevalent. So, um, just take a look at what's triggering you and why, and just dig a little deeper. And don't be so hard on yourself or other people.
Your email is wolf.art101. Is that right?
Yeah,
At Gmail?
WOLFE .ART101 at gmail.com. The truth is out there.
Let me put that on the.
That's actually, the truth is in here, really. The
Yeah.
truth is in here. And that really is, you know what? You will never, ever be happy, ever be fully happy until you really can love yourself. And, and it's hard. It's hard to teach somebody to love themselves. It really is. It's a very big internal job, and it is a big process, but it's key. It really is key to this, because you'll never be able to fully love others in an open way, until you can love yourself openly, and that means accepting all of you. You know,
Yeah.
your daytime and your nighttime. We're all those shades. We're all those things. And that's the beauty of being alive.
Yeah. That's where we experience life
Yeah,
and
yeah.
all of its joys and all of its pains. So,
Mm-hmm.
what's the best way for people to get in touch with you? I've got your email address up, and
Yeah.
your channel is linked below in the description.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, what kind of services can you offer people?
Well, I'm still doing the full tarot, so and then really focusing on energy work as well, which would be with meditation between two as well, is something I can do. So, but what I'm really trying to do is really tailor to the individual and what it is they need. I don't want to put like the same dynamic or platform for each person. So I really want to look at what that individual needs.
So, it really starts with some sort of consultation then. And
Yeah, just an email, and let me know, what you're, you know, looking to work through, or what stage you're at, or what you're interested in, and just go from there. So I've developed, a few different platforms, from anywhere from a half an hour to 2 hours, so it can really kind of taper to what you want, and to a price range that's affordable and easy, and tarot's a great thing. I've certainly done it, for years, but it's not necessary either. And so there's a lot of different ways. I'm really open to working with the individual. I want the process to be not just, I really want to get to know the individual. I'm not looking to prove something. I often found, with tarot cards, when I do some clients, and for the first time, I would used to do groups and stuff, and you get the person that comes in and they want you to prove everything. I whatever, I can, but I think it's a waste of time. And I'd rather get right down to the nitty gritty of what's going on. I can pull the cards out and tell you, what's going on, and or we can just do both. Tell me let's work it out and get a little bit more accomplished. So, I want people to be a little bit open to giving and receiving information, and tailoring it, depending on them and their needs, because we're all so different in this process. So I don't think that one way is the way for each person. I really want to take each one as they come. And maybe it's just having somebody to really understand and talk to you one-on-one for an hour about what's going on with you,
mhm.
and helping you through that, just like a counseling session. That's something that I've always done. The tarot cards is just a platform. It just gave me a direction to do the same thing. So I don't necessarily need the cards unless that's the experience you want to have. Because really, it's either way, it's the same thing. It's a counseling session on where you are right now, what the situation is, what the energies are that are driving this situation, and what's built it, and what's your best way to get to your ideal outcome. And I do that intuitively. And then as well with the energy component on top of it now, I want to add that with it as well. So I think there's multiple layers that I can really do with it, and I really want to taper to each person and help them feel like they can build a relationship through the session, and really be heard and understood and helped in a meaningful way.
I was sort of glancing at the chat here, and it seems like I want to just clarify there's no judgment here with any of this. Everybody's on their own path and their own place. And, you put your energy into what you want to put your energy into on your journey. And we're just here to share our ideas, to support, love. And,
just
there's
support.
We're not condemning anyone. So please don't take us wrong here.
Never.
It's like it looked like they were taking us opposite of actually what we were saying. So, just so you guys know. I don't know. I was just, I don't know. It was somebody was saying that they like to drink and eat meat and they can't ascend or something. Yeah, we're not saying that.
No, I'm not saying. I am never saying that.
You can't raise your vibration if you know. I think we're all on our own journey. And
you know what? I think you can do whatever you want, and as long as you feel good about you, you'll be raising your vibration. Because I think our energy is so powerful that as long as we are in a good place, it doesn't matter. So I do not believe that in any sense, I think we very much control that, and that, like I was saying before, I think guilt takes a bigger toll on us than a lot of things, and that's what can make things more detrimental to you. No, I absolutely, you experience, I say again, you are here to experience. That's why you came here. You experience whatever it is you want to experience, as long as you're not hurting anybody else.
Yeah.
And as long as you feel good about what you're experiencing, then you're on the right track in my book.
Yeah,
and everything's divine. Everything's divine.
I think if there's something that you're supposed to work on, you'll feel like
you'll figure it out.
Right. Yeah. And you'll feel that need to deal with it. And I wouldn't let anybody tell you what you should do. The fact that you're here sharing and, sharing the love, and, it shows that you're actually making progress of some sort, because you're not sitting there watching mainstream media right now.
Yeah. And I personally do not like set rules. I don't like set rules, because I think that they confine us. And that's why I like to say, you know what, if one day you feel like eating this and the other day you don't, then please go with it. Maybe don't be so restrictive on yourself, because I think we're always expanding. And I think when we set rules, that may not allow us to expand into the now experience we need at that time. So I like to be willing to let rules go and be willing to toss things out.
Most of us light workers are rebels at heart anyway, I think.
I'm such a, yeah.
And I'm here to really have fun. To be a truth seeker.
Yeah,
you have
I'm
to be
here
a
to
rebel
have
at
fun.
heart. And I'm not buying this. I'm going to look into it myself. Thanks, though. You know what I mean?
Zoe's yelling at me because she wants to.
Zoe needs to take a potty break.
Yeah, so did you guys see her? She came in for a hello. Yeah, so never think that. I want you guys to have as much fun, experience whatever you want to experience.
Jessica was saying they were actually referring to someone else, not us. So.
Okay.
Sorry, I was just catching little snippets of it, and I'm like, don't take us wrong. We're, enjoy your path that you're on.
Yeah, be free, fly. Yeah. And don't let anybody or anything hold you down.
Yeah, fly, my pretties, fly.
Yeah, they're your wings. So you use them how you want to use them, and don't let anybody hold you back. It's your experience to experience, nobody else's. For sure.
Definitely.
Adamant about that one. Yeah, so I never have any judgment on anything. On anything. And I've experienced a lot of things in order to not have judgment about those things. So I'm open to discussions. You don't need to keep secrets from me, because there's no judgment. No judgment here. So
it's kind of like you're like the priest that they can confess their sins to, but you won't make them do Hail Marys. And
we'll smoke the joint together while we talk about it.
Once again, it's wolf.art101@gmail.com. That's wolf with an E on the end, just like in the title. And you can also
Not
go to our
wolf,
YouTube
not
channel.
wolf, not
Right.
wolf, wolf.
Wolf.
Like the wolf, not wolf.
Right.
See, even Zoe said, not wolf.
It's like you're talking about my ancestors, right?
Yeah, okay. Hold on, just stay right here. I'm gonna just open the door for her. She drives me crazy.
Okay. Ah, Michelle Wolfe, you look great. You're on another timeline now. I think the weather's just picking up for us.
Now they're gonna go out there and bark. Hopefully, it won't be as loud. That's okay.
Barking
Too much
on
action
another.
going on. Too many squirrels. Too many chipmunks and things. Or, yeah.
Oh, we know what that's like, right?
Yeah, yeah. Squirrel. Who, me? Never.
Well, awesome. Thanks for
Yeah.
coming on. We'll wrap
I
this
love you
up and we'll
guys.
see you on our next Tuesday show.
Oh, for sure, for sure. So I haven't quite got up to your level of every day yet, but I'll get there. I'll
I
see if
take a
I can.
break every now and then. I'm
Well,
always
the
busy,
weekend was
but
a lot. The
yeah.
weekend knocked me out from that. Like I said, I just slept. So, but I did get an on-the-fly video. So of me sitting on the stoop, little wonky, but it was fun. So I'm looking forward to doing a little more casual Michelle.
But if I have to travel to see my brother in Missouri, I will probably be streaming from the highway. So that
Oh,
should be interesting.
cool. Oh, cool.
Can't really have guests on, and I'll have to do it. We'll see how it works out.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see what
I'm not going to
happens.
disappear or anything, but
You better not.
no, I might have to change up the format for a week or so, though. So
Yeah, well,
that'll
if you
be
need
fun.
any help, let me know.
All right. Go on my Missouri tour up
Yeah,
Highway
and
44.
I'll sub in for you for your guests or whatever, right?
That'd be awesome. Yeah,
If
I
you
could
want.
call and put you on speaker. Well,
Oh, for sure. Whatever you need, I'm here. I'm
we can
always
figure
here
it
for
out.
you. Yeah, I miss you. Like if I don't see you, I start to get the Shane ache about Monday. I'm like, I gotta talk to him, especially if I haven't sent you any links.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we're always swapping links, guys. Like, check this out. Check
Oh
this
yeah.
out.
Usually it's Mr. MBB 333 too. It's like, look
See
at this. Did you see that?
his sky
Oh
photos lately are out of this world. I'm like, are you serious? It's like
yeah.
anybody seeing this?
The Schumann
Like,
resonance, that's been out of this world too. It's
yeah, so you
crazy.
can really see, yeah, you can see the effect on that. That was the day, like when it was going crazy, that I was at work and I think it was making me sick in that environment. I really
Yeah.
do. I think it was just too much. It was too much. And to be in that environment with that many people, I think it was literally making me sick. And I
Yeah.
just went home and literally, and I had a good night's sleep the night before. I
Mhm.
got home and 5 minutes, I was out and slept for like 6 hours straight. And it was just nonstop. So
I
it
can see it
definitely
being
takes a toll.
draining because if everyone's feeling it and then you're feeling everyone, then you're getting not only your own dose, you're
Yeah.
getting the dose of all these other people's energies going wild. So I can,
Especially if you're in an environment where there's somebody who has a negative attitude towards you. It's
oh yeah.
toxic. It's toxic. And that's what I've been experiencing as well at work too. So it's like, yeah, still trying to puzzle this one out. So how to deal with it. The old me would have been like, you, me, now. Like that's like and I will like taking
Step
you
outside. We're
down
going to
a
handle
level.
this right now.
Yeah, but I'm trying to but we'll see where it goes. We'll see. So, but I think it was a little too much with the energies going on this weekend and I was just like, peace out. I don't need to do this. And yeah. And time to and definitely time to move in. This is another example, I think, of like what I was saying. When it's time to move on, life will show, like you will get the signs and it just will not work. So for me, I'm definitely feeling like it is time to cut that back. It's time to move forward to really just doing this work um, uh, as my work now, like, to be able to be there and helping people, because I really feel that as this accelerates, I believe my abilities will continue to accelerate. Therefore, all the more work that I will be able to do for people, and that's the direction to go. Yes, it is. Thank you very much. Yes.
Got the
So,
vibrating, huh?
oh yeah, zing. So that's what I want to do. So if you guys want to help me support doing that and get away from this, this other small bit of work that I really don't want to have to do anymore. So I really want to be able to just focus on this full time. You can come see me in person, or we can do this one-on-one via audio video. So email
Perfect.
me. I would appreciate it. Yeah.
That sounds great. And be sure to join us tomorrow. I'm going to have Vanessa VA here at 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 Central. So definitely want to show up for that. We're going to be talking about her get together she's having out on the East Coast, which is going to be wonderful. That's coming right up. And then I'll also be presenting the information on our get together here in Tulsa next month. So tune in tomorrow, and lots of love and light to everyone out there. Peace.
Peace.
See you on the next one. Bye-bye.